Tonight on American Greed Bonus Edition. An heir to a timber fortune, a devious psychic, and a quest for love.
I only paid her $10 for several hours. It was a bargain.
Over a decade, fortune teller Rachel Lee's bargain cost Ralph Raines Jr. $15 million and much more.
The scam in this case was so deep. He was essentially brainwashed.
With Lee dealing the cards, Raines believes his dreams are coming true.
Baba.
I'm beginning to think that it's happened.
She gave him what he wanted most.
Smile.
But the reality is, it was all false, and it was all designed to steal his money.
Lee's scorched earth scam leaves behind a trail of devastation.
His whole family been taken away from him. His whole family.
It's a clairvoyant con where Rachel Lee and her family see themselves living the good life.
There's my car, there's my car, there's a car I'm gonna get.
It's evil. It's real evil.
Good morning, Rachel.
In 2013, a fortune teller from Oregon named Rachel Lee is in Monte Carlo with her husband, Blancy.
Bonjour.
In this mecca for the rich and famous, the Lees treat themselves to a hotel costing $1,800 a night.
All I can say is forget about it.
They gamble in black tie at the Casino Royale and party at a club called Billionaire. Lee appears to be having the time of her life. Something that's easy to do when all the money she's spending belongs to someone else. Ralph Raines Jr. grows up here on the Raines Tree Farm, about an hour west of Portland, Oregon.
My dad purchased the place in the mid-50s. We started out planting the trees, and I watched my dad, and I planted my first trees when I was about 10. Planted well over 1 million trees over the years. It's hard, dirty work, but at the end of the day, you feel good.
Trees from the Raines farm can fetch up to $1,000 each, but the family is careful not to cut down too many. Theirs is a sustainable forest, where the public is welcomed. Though it's enjoyed by many, no one knows it or loves it as much as Ralph Raines Jr.
When I'm out here among the trees, I'm in my element. You can see that.
Living alone among the trees he will one day inherit, Jr. is described as being bright but gullible.
He is socially awkward. He's always been that way. And really, other than working with some of the people that were working on the property, I don't think he had a lot of social life.
He's intelligent, very intelligent, even from the first time I met him, but very sweet, very naive almost.
Raines is an only child who stands in the shadow of his father, a distinguished World War II pilot worth millions.
My dad made virtually all the business decisions and ran the place, and I carried out the orders.
Junior is fine with the arrangement.
He's never really cared about money. Means nothing to him.
He doesn't particularly care about clothing or having a nice house or beautiful furnishings. That kind of thing is just not of interest to him at all.
One thing that does interest him is the psychic realm.
I'm deeply interested in the paranormal. I have a strong interest in it. Some of the areas I believe in, some of the areas I don't.
While visiting Bend, Oregon in 2004, Fate leads him to this psychic shop run by Rachel Lee.
I stopped by and I visited with her, and I got acquainted with her, and I liked her personally. I only paid her $10 for several hours. It was a bargain.
When Raines Jr. meets Lee, he's 57 years old, and he shares with her his one great desire.
I said I wished I had a family, was married and had a family. And I said, well, it just hasn't happened in my life.
Lee says she can help, but she seems to take an interest in another aspect of Junior's life story.
She said, well, I'd like to see your place. And I says, well, I'd love to show it to you. I showed her the place, and she agreed it was a lot of property. And she told me, she said, I understand a lot. And she said, I've learned a lot from you. And I said, well, I've enjoyed showing it to you.
It doesn't take a fortune teller to realize this land is worth a fortune.
You're sitting there looking out at all this property. You know that there's money there. But I think she realized that there was a lot. This was kind of a big one for her.
If you're not sure where to turn, reach out to Rachel from the Can Be Psychic, a world-renowned psychic using tarot cards, palm reading, and her natural abilities to read into your life story.
In this TV ad, Rachel Lee touts herself as a guiding hand for those in need.
Rachel can help you find success in love, business, and life.
In reality, though, Lee is a master of the sweetheart swindle. She uses the promise of love to isolate a lonely man and hijack his financial life. Ralph Raines Jr. is hardly her first victim.
Rachel Lee was really skilled at executing this playbook of fraud. She clearly has developed a skill over time in figuring out what individuals need to hear and then creating just the perfect situation to be able to extract money from them.
In Sacramento, California in 1999, a public transit worker who we'll call Francisco says he meets Rachel Lee at Psychic World. One friend describes Francisco as being kind of slow, and he comes to Lee hoping she can reunite him with a lost love interest.
She just say, this is your soulmate. You may cross paths in 2 years, but it could also be something that can take as long as 10 years.
Lee tells Francisco she is having her own love problems and will soon be getting a divorce. Then she lets him in on a secret.
When she first saw me, she told me that she saw the most wonderful man. She picked that up right away. You don't need to be a psychic for that.
As their friendship grows, Francisco goes with Lee to a car dealership where she first refers to him as being more than a friend.
She came out of nowhere like my fiance, amor. She calls me that. She say amor, the word which means love in English, almost making me go beyond a friend and making me like her possible future husband.
It's good timing, because Lee needs her new amour to co-sign on her new truck. Soon, Francisco says Lee has him shelling out thousands to help her save her house, pay for a divorce lawyer, buy another new car, and take out numerous credit cards in her name.
She'll always be wanting to do shopping. It's like that was her passion.
This goes on for years, and eventually Francisco begins to hear from credit card companies seeking payment. Later, Francisco files a lawsuit claiming he's out more than $100,000. And in July 2003, he goes to police, though his case is never prosecuted. Months later, Lee heads north to Bend, Oregon, where she sets up a new shop and begins luring a much bigger fish.